Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Dr. April. We are here again with our quarantine edition of relationships and roles that men and women play. So today I want the panel to introduce themselves. Y'all go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lori.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mercedes.
How y'all doing? I'm Hilton.
Hi, I'm Diamond.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eli.
Hello, I'm Quanice, but most call me Nisi. Either or, doesn't matter.
Okay. Welcome, guys, to the panel. So we're going to jump in. My first question is, let's talk about being emotionally unavailable. Hey, Adrian has joined us. So, Adrian, we just introduced ourselves. Go ahead and introduce. Are you there?
Okay. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Adrian. Hello.
Okay. Well, Adrian, we jumping into the first question. So our first question was explain, or let's talk about emotionally unavailable in aspects of men and women. So to you guys, what do you feel emotionally unavailable means to you in reference to your partners?
This is Lori. I feel like emotional unavailable would be kind of like whenever we need to talk to somebody as far as on our partners, and they're pretty much doesn't really seem interested in the conversation, or either if they, you might want to go and do something with them, or everything is always, well, maybe next time, or they're just not interested.
Okay, I can agree. Anybody else?
Well, for me, it's like the other person just not being able to, or just not really expressing their emotions and letting me know like how they feel or whatnot. That's being emotional unavailable to me.
Okay, I agree.
To
Yeah,
kind
and not sympathizing. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Diamond.
not to kind of piggyback on that. I think that also a lot of times emotionally available means, in many ways, being focused on themselves. So they'll want to share, everything with their emotions, and want you to be there for them to support them, but then not want to reciprocate. So it's more like wanting to receive love, but not wanting to give it.
Ooh, that's good. Okay. Any of the men?
Yeah, I think emotional availability can also be insincere. It can be fake. It can be not authentic. And I think that being emotionally unavailable can also show up in that aspect of it. We can engage in a conversation, but it's not sincere and it's not authentic. And a lot of the times that can come off, I think the lack of empathy is one of the reasons why people show up emotionally unavailable, because empathy requires you to get rid of yourself and spend time in that other person's world. And so that lack of empathy and that lack of authenticity is also a reason we can engage in conversations but still be emotionally unavailable. And so I think the lack of empathy on both sides of the spectrum is where the emotional availability is lacking, if you will.
Okay. Okay, I can agree. Anybody else? Eli, Adrian, Adrian. What do you think?
Uh, I agree with everything everybody said. A lot of times you get lost with a person once you become comfortable. So, the little things that led you to come to that person, you kind of lose focus of that. And it could be little things. It could be your job. It could be your kids. But you just kind of lose things of that nature from your significant other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree because I have been that person before. Like in my younger days, like I wasn't emotionally available, for the women that I was with in my younger days because I was focused on other things. So all that's the truth. Everything everybody said, I agree.
Okay.
And did you, not Adrian, what is it, Eli? Did you avoid like in-person contact with them sometimes? Like just not want to be around them?
Not so much not wanting to be around them, but just maybe not wanting to deal with issues that they might come to me with. I'll brush
Okay.
it off or leave or,
You ain't
just
got time for that. I got
exactly.
you. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So what are some things, what are some things that you guys suggest that would be beneficial that could help when you are dealing with a partner emotionally unavailable? Do you just leave the relationship because they're not willing to open up or see things from your point of view or give you the time, attention, affection that you need? Or how do you work on that?
I don't know.
Well,
Speaking for, you can go ahead, Hilton. Go ahead.
no, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was that person, right? Because I like to avoid emotions, right? I don't like to talk about those emotions that, we consider to be negative. So for me, I would run from them emotions. But if I'm in a relationship, I would prefer that someone be gentle, be patient, because if you come at me in a very aggressive way, you're not going to get the emotions that you're looking for. So I
Right.
would need you to be patient, gentle, and just really just work with me. Basically, if you're wanting to be in a relationship with me and allow me to go at my pace and not your pace.
Okay.
So I would say that not everybody's level of emotional intelligence are on the same level, and so and I mentioned empathy. Sometimes you have to get to their level of understanding. Sometimes you have to find out what were their upbringing, what did they go through, what makes them emotionally irrelevant, if you will. What makes them withdraw from an emotional conversation? Because sometimes it can be that they never had the freedom or they never had the safe haven to be able to comfortably express their emotions. Because a lot of the times when you reach a certain level of vulnerability, it's very difficult for human beings to express a deep level of vulnerability when the trust factor not there for somebody who has laid down a safe haven foundation for somebody to be able to speak freely. A lot of the times people are imprisoned by not only their own fear of expressing themselves, but the presentation that the other makes, as far as that is also concerned as well, like being overly aggressive, like Nisi said, or to be pushy or to be demanding. So sometimes you have to have a soft approach because, a soft answer turns away wrath. Also, it could be some emotional drainage there as well, because there are some of us that are so empathetic, we take everything to heart. Everything is an emotional feeling and sometimes that wears us down, and we have this thing that we call compassion fatigue course, and a lot of times we can be emotionally burned out or be exhausted because we give so much compassion and we give so much empathy to people, and sometimes we need a break. So sometimes not only a level of empathy and understanding, but sometimes you need to give yourself an emotional break and take some time to yourself so that you can recover and recuperate. Because a lot of times people who are very empathetic, we pour ourselves into people, and a lot of the times we end up empty quite a bit. And sometimes it takes the right person in that relationship to be able to replenish what we pour out. And so the partnership has to have some chemistry as well. It can't be one person just pouring out, and the other person receiving. It's reciprocal. I heard somebody say reciprocate. So a relationship is reciprocal. If you're not able to provide that reciprocal, it's going to always be a problem. So taking emotional breaks, developing a level of understanding of one's emotional intelligence is also a good thing. And then that can be some coping strategies as far as dealing with that emotional negligence, if you will.
Yeah. But I definitely believe that counseling will help with that. So many people are afraid to go to counseling because they feel that, well, I don't want to be labeled as crazy, but you don't have to go to counseling just for a mental disorder. You can go to counseling to learn how to be more emotionally available in your relationship, in your partner. Work on those things if that person matters to you and you want to change. So what are you willing to do to change some things about yourself so you can make that relationship work? That's important.
Yes. Also, body language. The body language is a big thing too. A lot of times we need to work on our body language because our body language can give off that emotional negligence as well. It says that communication is 55% body language, 38% tone, and 7% verbal. So a combined 93% of how you communicate has nothing to do with what you say, but how it comes off or how you say it. If somebody, if somebody said, "Well, baby, can I talk to you?" and you do, "Okay, what you want to talk about?"
Right.
That already gives off the energy that you don't want to be bothered. That gives off the persona that, you know what, I'm not available for you right now, but go ahead and say what you want to say anyway, so we can get this over with. So a lot of times we need to work on our body language and work on our voice tone as well in situations like that to provide that emotional stability or that emotional availability that people need.
Okay. Which brings me to my next question. That's a good segue. So men, this is a question to ask. What scares you more? I got a question or we need to talk?
We need to talk.
Why, Adrian?
Because you start off with, I got a question. That question, it's a broader range. I have a question, and again, that kind of goes back to body language as well. I got a question. We need to talk. That's directly talking to me. Now the first thing that comes back, hell, what have I done now? You start thinking back of things like that. So for me, it'll definitely be, we need to talk. Like.
Okay, so getting defensive, but why you guys take that as a defense? Well, maybe she just really want to talk about, you guys, the relationship, and how you can move forward and compromise or reach some type of decision. Doesn't necessarily have to be that you did something or something bad.
That's right. So the first thing that comes about that is we need to talk. So now your mind racing. You could be sitting home watching sports. You could be just riding in the car. Y'all could be listening at the song, and it's always an opportune time to say we need to talk. So you look like, by what? So if why not just start the conversation? Let's just ease into it. When you come with we need to talk, we can be talking in the middle of something. You say, I got a question. Oh, what's up? It's more receptive. We need to talk. It's like, when? Now? Tomorrow?
Okay.
Both of them scare me. Both of them worry me, because if we need to talk and I have a question that's not part of your normal verbiage, I know something crazy coming after that. So both of them worry me. Because if she don't usually say, I got a question, or we need to talk, or look, I got a question. Oh, it's finna be something.
Yeah, the voice tone.
It's finna be a problem.
Okay. So you agree, Hilton?
Yeah, both of them. I don't see the difference between either one of them. I think both of them are the same. I think both of them are synonymous of each other. I think the reason why it scares the heck out of us, because I'm gonna say y'all are very inquisitive is the word I'm gonna use. But y'all go ahead and fill in. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Y'all are highly inquisitive, and y'all explore things. Like I mentioned last time we talked, women think like tour guides. We think like pilots. We just want to get to the destination. Y'all want to explore everything before we get to the destination. So there may be some things that we may not have mentioned or may not have told y'all that y'all have found out about us that we haven't mentioned. Did we lie about it? No, but we just don't know to mention every doggone thing as it relates to us. So when y'all find that thing out, it catches us off guard, and then it causes us to explore a part of ourselves that we may not have been ready to tell y'all about, but y'all already found out about it. So then demand comes, here comes the demand. Well, look, You know, we ain't supposed to be keeping none from each other in this relationship. So you need to tell me what's going on. Why do I have to find out on my own? Why I got to find out on Facebook? Why I got to find out from somebody else? Why this? Why that? So that becomes a confrontation, and that becomes an argument, and then that further, you know, makes us fearful of opening up and telling y'all anything anyway, because most of the time the approach is off. When y'all say, "Oh, I got a question," I got a question, or you know, let's talk about this or something like that. That already throws us off and catches us off guard anyway. But when the approach is so aggressive, then, you know, it further makes us scared to even talk at all. You know, because now we got to try to find an excuse for why you didn't tell y'all that in the first place. You know, and that's not for every woman. And that's I'm more or less explaining the part of it that scares us when y'all come with those two very synonymous questions that you're talking about.
And you gotta be very careful about what you're gonna say, because she about to break down every word that come out your mouth. She's paying attention. So wherever you're going with your explanation, it better be the right way, because she gonna know it.
You already had an answer.
She'll murder you. Yes,
you gonna know.
She'll murder you.
I always use the analogy as, you know, she the prosecutor, I'm the defendant. You know what I'm saying? You got me in court. I mean, you cross-examining me.
You weren't ready.
What I'm supposed to do? You know, my back against the wall.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
It's not even all about telling the truth either. Sometimes it can be the fact that we're not ready to talk to y'all about that, and y'all pushing the issue. It's not all, and we do lie. We do lie. We lie a whole lot more than women do. Y'all just do it better. So, you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, y'all are smarter than us. So, you know, I don't want the shock look now, Laura. Don't do the shock look. I'm trying to give y'all a little props. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so a lot of the times it ain't about lying. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's about, okay, I'm not ready to talk about this, and you are. And then if we're not available to talk about it when some women are ready to talk about it, then it becomes a fight. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we're not being resistant. A lot of times we're just not ready, because we're not as emotionally expressive as y'all are. And we're not, you know, and we don't talk as much as y'all do. Not saying that y'all just, we talk. No, it's not that. It's just that we're not ready. So a lot of the times when I'm approached like that with my wife, I say, you know, give me some time. Give me some time to think about it. Give me some time to talk this thing out, because I don't want to be cross-examined. And even though it may not be the woman's intention to cross-examine, the multiple questions, the series of questions that comes after we say what we say, we're not prepared for that, because y'all are so detail oriented and y'all very specific in your thought process. You want to break down everything we say, and then that brings about multiple more questions that comes behind that. And so a lot of the times I tell my wife, well, you know, I need a break. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times I don't have to say I need a break, because, you know, I've been practicing and studying y'all through my wife. Yeah. My wife is one of those analytical persons. And so now when she comes in, let's talk. Okay, I'm ready. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? But I had to practice that. Like men, we're not genetically inclined like y'all to just the questions with the questions. So now that I have practiced that has become a part of my personality, to be able to engage a woman when she wants to talk right then and there, or she got a question right then and there. And I'm a therapist, so I have to know how to do that to some degree, because I'm dealing with couples that are in relationship at the same time. But but just regular old Big Hill, you know what I'm saying? That's scary, dude. You know what I'm saying? Big Hill, you know, I want to relax and all other stuff. But sometimes I have to become a therapist in order to get my wife to understand, okay, this and this and this and that, to be more explanatory about it. So,
but I think you said something that's valuable. You said that you told her that, hey, give me some time, or I need a break. Let me process that for a minute, and I'll get back with you. You said that. That speaks volume. That's a good communication back and forth between you and her. It's a lot of men that don't do that. It's just a shutdown.
Well, because we
Dr.
don't know
April.
how to do that. I had to learn how to do that myself. That wasn't something that I had in my mental makeup, before I learned how to do it. Women, I think y'all naturally know how to do that already because y'all are better monitors of your emotions than we are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff that I have learned over the years, it took practice. It took time. It took repetition to be able to get where I'm at right now. But that's not something that we naturally have inside of us that we do as far as how we communicate.
Okay. Adrian, what you said?
That's the yin and yang that you'll have with your partner. That's the yin and yang you'll have with your partner. For here to say, yeah, let me process that. It depends on that question or that we need to talk. You won't be able to get away with let me process it because it's right then and there. Whatever question that your significant other has, it's not a time to, hey, let me process it. Nah, I need to know what I already know. I need you to tell me.
Yeah, because they don't give you that time, right? That's what
right.
I'm trying to say. Sometimes they don't give us the time.
So it's not necessarily a tell the truth or don't lie. You already know. So once I give you the truth, we create a natural defense as soon as you say we need to talk. The first thing that comes out about what? Like what's happening? What's going on? Like, and you go around into it, but you've been thinking about this since we woke up at 8 this morning. Now it's 8 p.m. Now it's time. While we eating it, like, right, we could have said that at 8 this morning. So if it comes a time when I say, hey, let's process, you'd be like, nah, you had all this time to process because you didn't bring it up first. I did.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And like Eli say, at the end of the day, you got to know what you're saying, and how you say it, because everything's gonna be critiqued. Oh, so it wasn't. That's what we saying. Was and not wasn't. Like,
right. So
I forgot to put the apostrophe. I'm sorry.
So let me piggyback on that. Remember, I said in the last time we talked that women have to be able to provide that safe haven for us to be vulnerable enough to express ourselves. Mm-hmm. So even in the aspect of saying, give me a minute to think about it, there are some women that say, oh, so you want a minute to go think about what lie you want to tell me when you get there? See, it's stuff like that. So you're already analyzing that I'm going to lie to you even before. That's not going to make me want to talk. If you're already calling me a liar before I go ahead and process myself, right, before you ask me the millions of questions that you're going to ask me once I say what I say, then what's even it's a good coping, it's a good technique to use and a good skill to use, April, but it's not good to use with a woman who's already ready to cross-examine you and interrogate you in that manner when you say, okay, I need a minute to process it. Or you need a minute to go process this lie you getting ready to tell me. Well, so it just depends on how understanding and empathetic the woman is and how confident she is in herself that she could provide that safe haven for me to be expressive when I get my thoughts together or when a man gets his thoughts together. Go ahead.
Well, can you ask him, okay, how much time do you need? Because I mean, honestly, because I'll be wanting to know, okay, because right, we're it's not gonna be 3 or 4 months later, and then you're like, oh, I'm ready now. Because at that point, I'm upset. So would you not say I can ask how much time do you think you need?
Yeah, you can ask that. Okay. That. But let me ask y'all this. That's a good question. When y'all need some time to yourself, or if you need some me time in the aspect of trying to process things, it's okay for y'all to be asked that because, maybe you don't want to give a time limit on what you need to process. So would it be okay to ask the woman that in the same process, in the same manner? And you can answer yes, Mercedes, Lori, April, Nisi, you can answer yes, but not every woman gonna say yes to that. Well, look, I just need my time. Why you just giving me a time limit? So it's good to ask that, but we talking about reciprocal. That has to be reciprocated as well.
Okay.
So I have a question. Well, I don't know if it's more of a question, but it sounds like kind of what you're saying is that like by the time we come in or a woman comes in and says we need to talk, and I could probably attest to it because we've been probably processing for a long time before we come to we need to talk, and we have analyzed and went over this, and and I think that's oftentimes so
Pastor Walker, preach.
yes, you know, but by that time we're ready for the conversation. And with y'all, and we've had a verdict that's already been made
and had a long time to process it too.
Right.
But
yeah.
you give us that short time, right? So that's good stuff right there.
Yeah, you're saying basically it's a double standard there, because it's like, okay, well, and I don't think we often realize it, because it's something that does come natural to us, where we've been and we might have been analyzing you for a while before we come to this. We need to talk.
Absolutely.
And then in that way, by that time, it could be where it's about, this or that, but by then it's become a demand.
Yes. Absolutely. And most of us don't know to explain that. The fact that I say we need some time, like most of us don't know how to explain it to the point where, Diamond, you get that understanding of what I'm saying. But most of us are not emotionally inclined to be able to explain that. Our thoughts are not there. But the reason why I'm able to explain it, because I have to counsel women as well as men. And most women need more detail to have a better understanding of how we as men think. So most of us are not able to explain that. Like I said, I'm just getting here, and I'm learning as I go along. But I'm still, at the core of me, I'm still a man that just want to get to the destination like a pilot. You know what I'm saying? But if I have to take time to explain and come on the level of the tour guide, then that's what I'm gonna do. So most women won't develop that type of understanding, Diamond, if it's not explained like this. And that's not unfortunate. It's just, the unfortunate part of it is that not all of us are able to explain it in that manner. But we do need that type of empathy that you're exercising right now, Diamond, to be able to be more expressive in our words, if y'all can allow that.
And then, the flip side of that is, if I ask you something and you tell me, oh, well, I don't want to talk about that right now, or give me a minute, or, something. We supposed to take that.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to take that. And then, now, fellas, on our end, you know what I'm saying? We don't care. We gonna take it, because we not that inclined as they are. But on our side, we gotta start holding them accountable to that, because they're gonna hold us accountable to it. Ms. Walker just said it. They done analyzed. She knew what she was gonna ask you 2 months before she asked you. She knew what she was gonna get, what you was gonna say. She done stood in the mirror and played the whole thing out. She done figured everything out.
Yeah.
See, we gotta start doing that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we do.
And a lot of the times, to piggyback, a lot of the times, the things that women don't like us doing, somehow, some way, consciously, y'all make it okay for y'all to do it without even knowing that you're doing it. And that's one of the things that I'm piggybacking for Eli on. Y'all don't want us to take our time to process, but when it's flipped on y'all say, well, look, let me talk about it right now. And we'll let you do it, because
we just want
I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna say this for me. I ain't gonna say this for all men. You understand? But I'm stupid. You understand? I'm not gonna catch everything you say. You understand what I'm saying? So give some leeway for my stupidity to surface itself, and maybe you can polish it, refine it, correct it, and build upon it. But because sometimes I just don't know everything, and my common sense, our common sense as men, are not going to match a woman's common sense because of y'all intelligence, y'all intuitiveness, and your capacity to be very detailed oriented. We're not going to always catch on to y'all common sense. And so when y'all get into this belittling persona about yourself, that makes us even feel less than, and it makes us want to be more guarded with our emotions at the same time.
That kind of goes back to the defense. That kind of goes back to, we putting up our natural defense. Myron, the reason why we gonna take it and sit there and be like, hey, I gotta ask you something, or I got a question, we need to talk. And she say that we need time. Most of the time a man don't want to fight. We don't have everything in detail, but we got just enough to come with that question in the first place. Hey, I got a question. No, like, and you tell me you need some time. Emotionally, it's like, what you mean you need some time? But at the same time, subconsciously, we like, man, I don't want to go back and forth with her. Man, you know what? Yeah, we take it. We take it because most of the time we not trying to actually go back and forth. If a man bring that up, he's prepared himself for a fight, but it ain't gonna be long because we ain't come up with it.
We ain't built like that.
No.
Yeah.
We're not gonna win that
we
argument.
don't want to go back and forth. So when she say, I need some time to process, you sit back like, you need some. Okay, all right. We're not trying to fight. Whereas a woman, from a woman's standpoint, what you mean you need some time? Time? Oh, you had all the 6 months that it happened to go to get some time. Nah, I need my answer now. And we probably know that stuff. And the thing with us, and we find it out today, we asking today. We don't have that, the processing and, what I'm saying, got the blackboard. Okay, on Tuesday, this happened. On Wednesday, this happened. Now, we're not doing all that. On Tuesday, when we found out at 4:52, at 5:01, when you pick up this phone, say, man, I need to know something. We didn't gave our time to process. So when you say you need some time, we're not prepared to fight. We just need an answer. We're not coming in to fight. Whereas a woman, look, soon as he say that one word, it's on. Oh, so her name was Michelle. Oh, so her nickname ain't, you don't call her Mikey? That's what's in your phone, right? Mikey, right? Like Mickey D. So Mickey D's calling you, huh? Like no. That ain't that. Man, listen, she just works with me.
Can I address that real quick?
Go ahead.
So on one hand, like I also hear what y'all say. I feel like I opened a big old can saying that, but it's true, and I do agree with you guys. But then on the other hand, like as a woman, I think sometimes like our tolerance level is here because Hilton, you mentioned something. You said I'm dumb, and I don't think I know what you meant by saying that. I don't think you're dumb at all, but. Then I hear a lot of men say that. And sometimes I hear them saying that almost like as a way to absolve themselves of responsibility in the process. And so then we've been analyzing, you come to the table and be like, oh, I'm dumb. What is all this? And maybe you're avoiding or you're taking time to process and things like that, but a lot of times a lot of men will come with more lies, and then later on you found out that it really was what you thought it was. You know what I'm saying? So then our tolerance level, I think that's part of the whole reason why as someone mentioned earlier, is what we're like, oh well, no, you're not getting any time to process because you want to tell more lies. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it because we shouldn't. In many ways, a lot of times we draw from our experience as a way to catastrophize. But then on the other hand, drawing from your experience is a natural thing for everybody. And we often use it as a reference for how we're dealing with our relationships in the present or the future.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. But a lot of the times, when we use that particular methodology, we're also crying out to the woman, please, can you approach this in a better way so that I can be more comfortable in explaining what I'm explaining, because it's going to immediately put me on a defense. Hey, I may want to come clean with the lies I've been telling. I may want to do that. But that has to be a level of comfort that you, because if the relationship is going to be based on honesty and it's going to be based on contrition and integrity, for one thing, it's the big thing here, integrity, then allow me to exercise that integrity and let's talk about it. But if you're going to beat me up and not provide some type of safe haven for me to, reveal these lies that I've been telling them, then I'm gonna keep on lying. Is that an excuse? No. But what we're asking is, okay, when we say, we're stupid, give me a more simplified approach. Ask the question, be more simplistic in your questioning, because a lot of the times those multiple questions and all that analytical expression a lot of times can confuse us in a way that even if we're telling the you're gonna find a way to make it seem like we're lying because we're not on that level of emotional intelligence and analytical, ideologies like y'all are. So you have to be able to, be empathetic in the sense of, okay, let me not be so interrogatory with my questioning. Let me not be so aggressive and so forthcoming. Let me not be as analytical. Let me slow it down a little bit so that we can catch up. But once y'all get to going, it's 100 miles and running. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times we can't keep up. So it may appear that we are lying, even though we're trying to explain our truth at the same time. So that sometimes it ain't always lying. Sometimes it's just y'all breaking us down so harshly and so critically that the truth may sound like a lie sometimes.
I think that might be coming out due to like I said, with the man and woman thing. Once we find out something, we unloading the clip. We letting everything out. And I think our women get mad at us or, be upset with us when they are telling us because we ain't giving it all. They already have it all, but they only giving us so much. So, they still got this whole bag, but they only gave you this much, So once you start spilling your guts or saying whatever the situation was, oh, that's just the surface, bruh. She got all the ingredients of everything that's going on. So, when you saying slow it down here, slow it down for us. I mean, I don't think at that point in time you could slow it down because they already at that point. That's something that has already been processed. It's been festering. You know what I'm saying? So like just like you put some water in the pot, and when that water start boiling, once some bubbles come, even if you turn the pot off, the water is still hot. The water then bubbled. Now the bubbles are gone. So I think from that standpoint, I think a lot of times when it comes to a situation, when it gets to the point where she needs to talk or she needs to ask a question, it's just like this. It's nothing on this side. You can't say nothing outside of what we're talking about right now. This is the question that I'm asking you, and you have to answer this question. It doesn't matter if we change our tone. It doesn't matter if it's coming. It takes.
But I get what Hilton's saying in the aspect of it's the delivery. Because when I counsel couples, I tell them that all the time, and the female mainly, about is how she delivers what she's saying to him. Now, most of the time, the man is always willing to comply, but it's how she come at him. It's how she say it, So it's just the aspect of the delivery. Make sure the delivery comes across as, more loving, more caring, not so harsh. And then you can kind of get better results that way if you work on how you say things as opposed to kind of what you're asking. But so I want to move on from this question because I want to, before we get out of here, I want to kind of throw this question on this one. Yes.
Yeah. So I had a whole lot more to say, but go ahead.
So men and women, but mainly men, this question, how do you feel about moving into a woman's house before you're married? I know that's the issue that has come up, and a lot of people have been doing that. So I wanted to touch on that and just get everybody's opinion.
Okay, so we kind of touched on the whole thing the last time we talked about finances. I think me and Mercedes kind of went back and forth on that one. I think communication is so okay. I don't have a problem with the aspect of it. I really don't have a problem with it. But there's certain things that needs to be communicated while that process is going on, because now you're moving in with somebody that has a completely different aspect on coexisting or cohabitating, right? And so if you don't key in on the communicative aspect of it, as far as how you live, how you clean up, how you cook, how you pay bills, what does this look like and what does that look like, it can be a disaster, and it can drive you further apart, while the purpose may be is to drive you closer together. And so I think communication has to be key. There has to be a level of understanding between the two, because you can communicate all day, but if your communication has no understanding, then that communication is for naught. And so there has to be a level of understanding how you deal with your household and how you run your household, because you have two people who ran their own households now coming together to run one, and there are going to be some differences there, and those differences need to be talked about. But other than that, there's not a problem with it. But usually the problem is that there are differences there, and nobody's willing to compromise on their differences.
But what if the problem is she's the sole provider? Because we see a lot of that, to where now he's working, but she may make more money than him, and then he has to move into her place with her. So how does that, in turn, as a man, make you feel? Eli, go ahead.
So that how does that make me feel?
Yes.
Me personally, money. I don't. That's not a factor for me in the relationship. I don't think we should have problems about money, whether I'm moving into your house or you moving into my house. I know it's like the elephant in the room, but me personally, whoever I'm dealing with, if we decide to do that, money is and that type of stuff shouldn't even be an issue.
But that's still the communication thing as well. Like, what kind of attitude are you going to take on because you make more money than me? That still needs to be communicated. Because if the attitude is the attitude of a bully, and there's some arrogance there about, I'm running this house, I'm the queen of this throne because I make more money than you. If you're going to be belittling and condescending, that's something that a man needs to know before this happens, so that the man can make the conscious decision to say, no, that's not how that's going to go. You understand what I'm saying? So that's still a communication thing. And that's of the
characteristic that you probably should have seen before y'all made that decision.
Probably so. But when you're lovey-dovey, a lot of the times lovey-dovey don't allow you to see stuff like that. You're right. You're absolutely right. But sometimes lovey-dovey, and when you're in that honeymoon phase, the heighten of the infatuation and the emotional connection that you make, a lot of the times you bypass that. Sometimes it's ignored because of how she makes you feel right now. And then when things start to get more comfortable, because there'll be some levels of comfortability in a relationship that's going to take place. When those levels of comfort place, then we start seeing natural traits of the person come out more often, because now we're used to being around them all the time. And sometimes we get sick of each other, couples. Any married folk, you get sick of your spouse at some point. You love them, but you're sick of them. And so a lot of the times you're going to see, because we're all flawed human beings, that darker side of you is going to surface itself at some point. You know what I'm saying? And so things like that should be communicated. And while it is brilliant to find out those things before you move in, a lot of the times you don't find it out until you move in.
Yeah.
And then as far as the money situation, when we come together like that, I mean, everything should just split down the middle, and then we tweak it out, as far as our, personal bills. However we need to tweak it, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, that shouldn't even be a problem.
But what if there's no split down the middle? You have people in circumstances to where, he may have lost his job, may not be working right now, so she has to foot the bill of everything. So there's no split down the middle because he don't have nothing to split with. So then
that's when you're gonna really see what y'all relationship is made of. Because it's gonna be tension, because she's spending all her money. She don't want to spend her money. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be some tension because she's spending all her money, and you look like you not trying to find no job. I don't care what you're doing, man. It's gonna look like you ain't looking for no job.
And are you gonna walk away every time something that has an adverse effect takes place? Like when adversity strikes, are you always going to walk away? And things happen in relationships. Your relationship is going to be hit with some type of adversity. The question is, can you rise in the midst of adversity? Now, of course, a man, going into another direction, a man, a lot of the times we have incredibly large egos, bigger than the state of Texas. And a lot of the times for men who have incredibly large egos, don't want no woman making more money than him, and that can somehow be some bit chauvinistic. And if a woman sees that chauvinistic quality in him, then she might want to make a decision of whether or not she want to move in with that too, because then that limits her ability to do some of the things that she wants to do to boost her own career and do things that she want to do. So that might, you know, it may take away some career opportunities away from her because she's trying to please this chauvinistic man that don't want no woman making more money than him. And
I
so
hate I ain't never
a woman,
had that problem.
oh, yeah. So some men have that problem. Now the men that's on here may not have that problem, but we still are very egotistic beings. You know what I'm saying? In some shape or form. And sometimes we let our egos get the best of us. Some of us cannot monitor our egos better than others. And so some of them, some of us, as far as controlling our egos, we're wild animals. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's out of control. And so you want to make sure that the man that you're in love with has some type of balance in how he manages his ego, just like y'all have good balance in how y'all manage all emotions. And for what it's worth, you know, y'all got a nice little ego over there too. Yes, you do. Yes.
Okay. Well, ladies, any ladies want to jump in and talk about this? What do you feel? How do you feel about the man moving into your house, ladies?
So I agree with Hilton to a certain extent as far as looking at and thoughts about money previous to that. Also, that on that high, a lot of times women are also on that high too. I know this is like going back, but a lot of times women are on that high too. So they may see what's going on, you know what I'm saying? See, okay, maybe I make more money than him. I don't know if I'm okay with that, but I'm so into him that no, it's gonna be fine, you know, it's gonna be okay. And so sometimes like I think that oftentimes, you know, when it's new like that and you're looking at moving in, there's clarity.
I think you're cutting out, Diamond, a little bit.
Do you have a fan on in your house, Diamond? Because you're cutting in and out. No? Okay.
Can you guys hear better now?
Yeah. Is there some kind of noise in your background?
It may be somebody else. Everybody else go on mute just in case.
Yeah, go on mute. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do that too.
A little bit better now?
Yes.
So what I was saying was that sometimes there's like kind of this insincerity because of that kind of high on both parts, I think, as far as like, so with the woman, if she makes more, she may be initially being like, oh, I'm so, you know, I mean, this is it. I know, you know, this is the one, blah, 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 blah. And I'm, you know, you don't even realize that you're on that high. So maybe in normal cases, this might not be okay, but you know, I'll make that compromise, or not even just make that compromise. I'm okay. I feel like I'm okay with it because I'm so into this person. So it kind of makes it difficult to have that conversation during that time where you're on that high.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Anybody, Mercedes, have anything to add?
No. I think they've said everything that I would say in great detail.
Okay. Nisi?
No. Everybody made some very good points, especially about the communication part. Communicating, you know, what your expectations beforehand, before you move in. Discussing finances, that's very important before you decide to move in with anyone.
Okay. Sounds good. All righty, guys. Well, we're going to end it on that note. We'll pick up with our part 2, part 3, I guess, and ask these other questions that we didn't get to cover today. But I appreciate everybody joining into the conversation. Until next time, be safe, be blessed, and goodbye.